All right. Hello, everyone. We are starting this webinar here on the webinar platform. So welcome in our first webinar this year. And I will be your host today. My name is Olena Gryniuk. I'm the C director at the SME Banking Club, and also founder and director at the VO Digital. And here is the platform where we promote and develop the digitalization of receivable finance, and build the community of experts which are eager to drive the change in the receivable finance. And this is our next webinar within the VO Digital project, and we speak about digital factoring. Today, we will speak about the change of the factoring system and how to do it effectively, both for the factoring company and also for the vendor. And my guests today are Eva Gawrońska-Micun, Head of Strategic Marketing and Product for the CE region and Country Manager for Poland at BB Financial Services, and Karol Leszczyński, Factoring Product Development Manager at Comarch, and they're ready to share their experience in their recent joint projects from the implementation of the Comarch Factoring Platform. Hello, Eva and Karol, and welcome.
Good afternoon.
Welcome, everyone.
All right, so before we start and go to the topic, just a short information from my side. We planned this webinar for 30 minutes. And the format of today's webinar is a Q&A session. So we will be I will be asking, and my speakers will be answering all the questions. And we invite you to join this conversation as well. Please type your questions in the chat right from the start, right now, to make it interactive. And we are ready to answer all of your questions. And we are recording the webinar, and right after we finish, you will receive the link to the video. So let's start. Let's go to the topic and let's discuss actually with all the detail your latest joint project implementation of the Comarch Factoring Platform at BB Financial Services in Poland. And probably my first question, Eva, will be to you. What was the main reason behind the decision at BB to change the factoring system?
Hello. So the decision, in fact, was the outcome of the analysis how the best serve the clients on our market, on our local market. We are the company that have long tradition outside of Poland. We are in Poland 20 years. And with our British roots, we are also using systems and tools that we are also rooted to this more to the Western jurisdiction and Western ways of working. After 20 years, we decided we want to be closer to the market, and we started to look local provider, the provider that understands the need of our customers, that understands also our jurisdictions, that understands that we have split payment, that we have whitelist, that our government can also make something up next year again, and we need a partner that goes together with us. So these were the first two main reasons. Yes, we wanted to have the system that is really suitable for local clients and is really suitable for local jurisdiction. And also important for us, it was that the fact that we are looking for the partner that is taking into account user experience when delivering online modules, and also the looking in the future, the connectivity of the platform with ERPs, with other systems, and also the possibility to use the cooperation with the partner that understands factoring and also knows how to put in life new products in our area. So I think they were the main reasons for this change and choosing Comarch.
All right. And after the decision and the choice of Comarch as the vendor, what were your first steps? From what you would recommend now after your implementation to start with?
In fact, our first steps were taking two groups of lawyers and sit down and negotiating agreements for a long time. I think Carol will talk it a little bit about it later, but I must admit that it was quite a process because we really came from two different worlds. Yes, IT developer, IT supplier that works with some agile approach, and we BB really traditional financial institution. We want to have everything described before we start implementation. So these two words started uh, to meet at this first stage, and it took some time to understand how to work together, so how to put in place, in fact, the ways of cooperation that would really work for us. And I would say one important lesson that I took from this, as I said, we were very, very focused on how we want to approach it. And in the future, I would recommend to everyone really follow the methodology of the supplier, because supplier really knows how to do things, has experienced people, have people that really know how to do it within their methodology. So I think that was the first thing that we started. So discuss how we are going to do it, how we are going to implement. And one another comment also connected to this approach, we in fact we started even before we chose Comarch, because we have, I don't know, 600 or something like this, very detailed, high level but detailed requirements that
Mhm.
we put in place also as part of our contract, as a scope of the contract, and said, this is what we want, this is what we want to have customized. And you know what, afterwards it was quite obvious that what we knew before and then what we knew after, when we started to work with the supplier, with the system, there were the needs to change our customizations that we wanted. So I
Mhm.
think this was the thing that we have not done just after we decided to choose Kabak, but we should have been doing.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Okay. We have already questions which I will read to you, and then we will continue the questions from my side. We have first question from Karen. What were your main challenges in the implementation? I think question to both of you.
I think we can also start with choosing the right methodology, because at the beginning of the project, this is very important to start with the right methodology. I can elaborate it a little bit more right now, because choosing this methodology can be crucial, and at some point can provide seamless implementation. And we need to remember that there are two types of methodology. Waterfall, which is a linear or sequential approach in which each phase must be completed before moving to the next. This gives a sense of clearly defined goal, and once all phases has been carried out, we end up with finished product that is in line with the original intent. Meanwhile, agile methodology is an iterative, incremental approach in which small pieces of functionality are developed, tested, and delivered to the customer in sprints. So, what problems it solves? For instance, risk management, waterfall at the beginning minimize the risk of the early phases of the project, while agile manages risk throughout the project. It means that during the implementations, we are able to react much faster on changing environment and adjust scope of work during the project. It means we are more and more flexible. And as it turns out, this flexibility is more and more important in cooperation with our clients. Another important issue is that we are understanding the understanding of requirements. In waterfall, full understanding of requirements is crucial at the outset, at the beginning, where agile allows us to adapt to change these requirements. We are starting with MVP version of given functionality, and then during the implementation period, we are adding other pieces of those functionalities. And I think the delivery of prior value is also very important. Agile allows us to the value to be delivered to the client at the early stages of the implementation, while Agile delivers the product at the end, fully product at the end.
Mhm.
So after each sprint, usually 2 weeks, we are delivering new functionalities or improvement of the existing one. So this is the biggest value. Our clients can see the progress of our work almost every week. But we need to also remember that the final choice of the methodology should depend on the project's requirements, budget, schedule, resources for implementation. And at the end of the day, of course, the final decision is on the client side. Of course, as Eva mentioned, which is very important, we prefer agile in this case. But as
Did
a
you do agile? Did you do agile in this joint project?
sorry?
Did you do agile when implementing with?
Yes, we are working in agile methodology, and at the end of the day, we need to be sure that vendor can be also flexible. We can propose to do the waterfall or agile, because at the end of the day, it's the client's choice. But we need to be sure that everything is managed very well.
Another question actually connected with the process of the cooperation and implementation comes from Małgorzata. Did you invite PM for this project, or your business teams led the project? So we're mostly coming to the more detailed cooperation during the implementation of the system between Comarch and BB. Karol, did you invite PM for this project, or business teams led the project? How did it look like?
The answer is very easy, of course. At the beginning, from both sides, from the BB Financial Services and from Comarch, PMs were involved in this project. From every meeting, from every discussions, PMs were divided at the beginning.
Karol, I want to ask you, and maybe let's then continue with Eva when she's back, because I know, and what I think that this is a great thing that you do with the customers, because we discussed the process of the implementation of your system last year with them factoring here in Poland. And I know that you do workshops before the start of this process of the implementation, which gives actually the understanding mainly to factoring companies, I guess, all the possibilities, all the functionalities of your system that can be provided within the, let's say, ready-made solution, right? And then they could understand what exactly they would like to customize or personalize. Tell us more about that, how you do it. Is it your kind of standard practice? Because I think this is a very great approach.
This is a standard practice in our case.
Okay.
Usually functional workshops is a phase when we are presenting our system block by block, deciding about the functionalities that should be provided on phase one, and about the features that could be implemented. Oh, Eva is back, I think.
Eva is back. I think we have you. Yes.
Yeah, sorry.
We switched
Don't worry.
to the question here about the workshops which you had before the implementation.
So which question? Because I'm sorry, but I couldn't really hear you before. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, well, technical issues happen. Yes,
Yeah.
so we discussed first the invitation of PM of the project, and we understood that yes, you had the PM. And now we switched to the question about the workshops which you had before the implementation. And yeah, I think this is a great practice which Comarch gives to the customers. And let's tell us more about that. How was it exactly? And
Okay, so let me continue. So what is crucial is to meet with our clients through these workshops together. Usually it's around 5 to 8 meetings. Usually each takes around 2 or 3 hours when we are demonstrating our system. Our teams, Comarch and BB, started to create, I think, a roadmap for the implementation with crucial points. Of course, we are also providing a demo of our solution for the client. It means that client also can click through the system, go through the system after the workshops to see how the system works, maybe to know the system better. Because what I remember from other implementations, our clients told us that during the implementation, they wanted to change some functionalities. But after going through the system for the first, maybe the second month, they decided that they can easily live with this functionality, and maybe we can put our efforts for other part of the system. So this is very important to remember, that after knowing the system better and better, vendor should also be more and more flexible to adapt those changes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this works in fact in both sides, yes, because this is exactly what we at some point not skipped, but put a little bit too late in the implementation phase, when we already decided which customizations we would need. And what I would say is rather really this kind of approach. So not only workshops but also testing, yes, touching the system by us, really allows us to understand what are the gaps. And then if we know what are the gaps, we also can understand if we can fill it in without the system. So we can change our processes, because it's important that we can get the same result, or we need to really have something changed as customization in the system. And I think this is one of the key things that should be done. So testing, touching, but also the support of supplier is very key here, because we may not be able to see on our own how to get to the same results in a different way. We lived for some time in a different world, yes, in the world of another system, of another ways of working. So I think this kind of workshops is something that I would put even more time on it, because you invest time and money at the beginning, but at the end, you really can go faster.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And how fast was the whole implementation, the whole process from the decision made to the last customer migrated, let's say?
Fast as lightning.
I think it depends. I think we should all agree here that it depends on the scope of the implementation, because as Eva mentions, if we are taking the solution from the box, so it depends on the scope, how many customer requests we need to implement, how many systems we need to integrate with. So it depends. So from my point of view,
Mm.
6 to 9 months, it's a period of time when we can easily implement the system.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, and this was your case, because we have the same question from Karen. So we were asking simultaneously, how long did the project take from the
Mm.
start to going live? So 6 9 months. This is a realistic time to go live. Mm-hmm.
From agreeing, I would say the scope. So I would say that we need time before to really prepare for this go live, and to really prepare for the really understand the scope of what we want to put in life. So if Carol said that it can be 6 to 9 months, yes, as long as you are really very clear of what you want to do. So you are after this clear workshops, you build your target operating model that is reflecting how you want to work, and then you can start
Yes.
on the implementation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, having this process of implementation behind you, what is your opinion on buying or implementing ready-made solutions? When, in your opinion, is it worth to buy a ready-made solution, and when is it worth to customize the features?
Hmm. I think it's not so black and white answer.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, every every company may have some features, or should have, especially the bigger ones, yes, that differentiate you from the market, that are your USPs. So I think you should look at the ready to use solution, like in this try it, yes, like in this demo, test it and find out, are there any things that are really lacking from the perspective of your USP or differentiator? If yes, I think this is the pretendant to be, this is the one that should be put as customization. But
Mm-hmm.
then if you based on it, you really should limit then the numbers of the customization, especially at the beginning. And I really, at the moment, I really value the approach that uh, I understood after some time working with Comarch, this MVP approach. Yes, so the solution that really gives you first the result, put in place, you can serve your clients. Okay, put your differentiators, because it's very important. You run, you really you rule the market, yes, with it. But at the same time, put in place, start to use it. And I must say that a lot of experience we got, because we decided first go live with with new clients, and then we focused on migration and migrate our clients. And we got a lot of experience on this in this period, that was working with a live system, because any testing is not as good as working. So we were working and finding out, oh, this is the efficiency we are lacking here, so maybe we should talk to Comarch, think about putting this in place. But this kept happen afterwards, as long even these workshops are not as good as really using the system. So I
Mhm.
think this is the approach that also make it faster.
Mhm. Mhm. I should ask you about the migration of the data and customers, let's say, because I think this is the main pain points in all the organizations when migrating to the new core systems. So how did you do it? Did you migrated the customers all at once, like a big bang approach, or you did it partially? What is your experience?
Mm. Yeah, I would have I would invite people to vote, but
Mhm.
yes, we did the Big Bang, in fact,
Okay.
in one run. It was very, very, I wouldn't say brave decision, but but it was very well prepared, by the way. So it was Big Bang, but we prepared to it quite long. In our case, there were the questions about the challenges. And as I said at the beginning, we're changing the system from the system that was based on the really Western or British even ways of looking at the transactions. So you have pots, big pots of invoices, pots of
Mhm.
charges, pots of funding. And now we change to the invoice level finance, which is
Mhm.
common in our market. So
Yeah.
what we have to do, we have to allocate these charges, this finance to every single invoice. It was crazy, absolutely crazy. We are not the only one that had to do it on this market, by the way, so it's possible. But it makes things much more complicated. So we really took time, and it took a few months. It wasn't very short time to
Mhm.
prepare a very good algorithm of the recalculations, yes, and automate this project process, because we had a lot of invoices, of course. And we also made in stages some preparation works, like static data before, etc. So it was very challenging. It was Big Bang, but it was very well prepared. And also, I have to admit both sides. Yes, also the Big Bang weekend was really the big weekend for us, all of us, because of course we are opening the system and there is already the issue, yes, and then we have to call Komar at the moment. And then I really think we were really doing this very well. We were very well prepared to it.
Yeah.
I think just to add a little bit more, because as Eva mentioned, it was challenging, all the Big Bang. But we need to understand that there are two types of data migration, like the step by step when we are putting, for instance, 30% of the clients at the beginning, and after a few weeks, after a few months, we are able to see the reaction of the clients, because they are dealing with new system. They need to see how the system works. We are able to gather a feedback from those clients, and then put the rest of data into the system. And of course, as Eva mentions, the Big Bang approach, where all the clients are implemented or migrated to the system during the weekend. So then they finish their work on Friday, and they start working in new factoring system on Monday.
Mhm.
So it depends. Of course, it depends on the client's needs. And again, as a vendor, we need to be sure we are able to provide both of those approaches.
Mm.
Mhm. Mhm.
We are lucky to have a long weekend, but it was Polish long weekend, so not so.
Yes, it was long weekend, exactly.
Okay, so you recommend to choose long weekend for that. All right. We have another question from Karen. Thank you very much, Karen, for your activity. question for Eva. Reporting and analytics are so important these days. How are you handling that with Comarch?
Hmm. We are using data that fortunately are in the Comarch system database, and on the basis of data, we use the reporting that is inside of the system, of course, but also our own reporting tools that are based on the data extracted from the Comarch system.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. All right, and maybe my next questions will be: what is next after the implementation? What are the steps? How you cooperate in the further development of the system? How, Carol, do you support system in Comarch? What's the process?
I think the most important thing after the implementation is to plan a release plan and a roadmap.
Mm-hmm.
So this is very important. One of the most important thing during a cooperation with client, in my opinion. And it's not just one meeting with the client to discuss our plan. It's rather a continuous cooperation with the client, discussing, planning, and implementing solutions. So it's also worth remembering this roadmap also should be a little bit flexible. We usually create a roadmap for 2 years ahead.
Mm-hmm.
But if we and client jointly decide that some of the planned functionalities are not necessary at the moment, we should be able, of course, to replace them with those that are expected from our customers. It may also happen that some legal regulations will be postponed. In Poland, we have a great example of invoicing. It
Yeah.
was postponed, I think, 3 times already.
Mm.
So in this case, of course, it's also worth checking how many of those planned functionalities have been implemented at the end of the day. So reaching the level of 85-90%, in my opinion, is appropriate level that shows that roadmap was planned very carefully and it was well thought out. And the second part, which is very, very important, is also creating a release plan. So in the same way, we prepare a plan where our clients receive exact dates when the new functionalities will be uploaded to the product version, by when we should collect requirements for implementation for the next quarter, etc. And thanks to this approach, client is able to plan the necessary tests, prepare the appropriate resources, people such analysis, testers. So this approach makes the work easier for both parties. We are able to understand the requirements for our clients, and we are able to prepare those roadmap and release plans together.
Mm-hmm. All right, all right. Probably the very last question from my side, as I see we don't have any other questions from the attendees. Carol, maybe this will be mainly a question to you, as now we've been discussing the implementation of the system in Poland. So, and we have attendees from other countries. How do you replicate your system, to be implemented in other countries in the CE region, or maybe globally in other regions?
So when I think about implementing a factoring system abroad, it's important to keep few following points, in my opinion. Of course, the most important, legal and tax regulations in the targeted country. Each country has its own rules regarding factoring, such as licensing requirements, taxation regulation of receivables, or restrictions to transfer a data of receivables. So adapting the system to the local laws is essential. So of course, Central Eastern Europe is very, very similar to Poland when we're thinking about the legal restrictions.
Mhm,
The second thing is, for instance, currency and exchange of the rate risk analysis. In international factoring transaction may involve different currencies. Proper management of exchange rate risk and securing against potential losses from currency fluctuation is also crucial. Uh, local and cultural business differences in business culture, payment terms, and trade relationships can impact, of course, the efficiency of the system as well. What it came to mind with me is collaboration with local partners as well. Establishing collaboration with local financial institutions, law firms, or maybe consulting companies. It's also good for the knowing the market better. And of course, technological integration and data security. Factoring system must be technologically adapt to the international requirements, such as different invoice formats, languages, or accounting systems, or data protection standards like GDPR in the Union is also crucial. So there are a few points we need to remember when we are targeting another countries during the implementation of our system.
Yeah, yeah. All right, all right. Yeah, I think we are closing the webinar. Thank you very much, Carol. Thank you very much, Eva, for your readiness to share your experience, for sharing all the insights. I think it's very useful for all of us, for our attendees. Thank you all our attendees for being active, for being with us today. Thank you very much, and see you next time online during the webinars and this year on the physical conference as well. Thank you very much and goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.